Alright everybody, welcome to my new YouTube channel. Please forgive my amateurishness and mistakes. I'm learning this thing as I go, believe me. But anyway, I'm gonna do this one about Mexico and Trump's border wall and why the Democrats are fighting these people so hard, because none of it makes any sense. You know, Mexico. Most of us don't know what Mexico is as a country. We don't know the depth of the corruption there. We don't know who actually controls Mexico. So that's what this is about. It's not about just Joaquin Guzman or any of these people. It's about Mexico as a country. So here we go. Mexico official: cartel sends $64 billion in drugs into U.S. annually. Okay. President Trump proposed wall along the U.S. border could cost Mexico more than just the price of building it. An official estimated that cartels send a stunning $64 billion worth of drugs into the U.S. every year. That's astronomical. I mean, that's most countries would dream of a GDP of $64 billion. And for most of us who don't know, $1 billion, just $1 billion, is $1,000 million. $1 billion is $1 million times 1,000. Okay, it's astronomical amount of money. Just $1 billion. They say they send $64 billion worth of drugs into the U.S. every year. $64 billion. Most of it comes into these inner cities where we live. Mexico's former Public Safety Secretary, Genaro Garcia Luna, dropped the number at a recent conference in Ciudad Juarez. I used to live in El Paso, Texas. This is their sister city right across the river. Luna said drug trafficking organizations have successfully exploited globalization, technology, financial markets to supply America's appetite for narcotics, according to the Latin American Herald Tribune. In 2013, Forbes named Luna one of the country's top 10 most corrupt officials. That is saying something in Mexico, people. Everybody there is corrupt. And he has long been alleged to have ties to Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, Sinaloa cartel. I just mentioned that. His estimate may be astronomical, but it sounds about right, according to Scott Stewart, Vice President of Tactical Analysis for Austin-based geopolitical intelligence agency Stratford. It definitely runs into the tens of billions of dollars, Stewart said. Stewart said nobody, not even the cartels, know how much money is being made. I got to read that again. It's unbelievable. Stewart said nobody, not even the cartels, know how much money is being made. He did say that the Mexican heroin and methamphetamine economy is booming, which is evident in the extraordinary rise of heroin overdoses in the U.S. Building the wall, which Trump famously said Mexico will pay for, and he meant that in more than one way, will stop the twin tides of illegal immigrants and deadly drugs, said Representative Duncan Hunter. Trump is the only person who's ever said, they even came close to trying to stop this thing. He's the only president who's ever mentioned the drugs coming from Mexico into the cities in the country, into our cities and into the country. Nobody's even ever attempted to stop this. But the article goes on to say, drug smugglers will always get creative and look for new ways to evade law enforcement, but without any kind of infrastructure, we're essentially inviting them to cross the land border, either on vehicle or by foot. In San Diego, the double fence halted vehicle drive-thrus. In other words, there haven't been any. Hunter said improvements in fencing and border patrol strategy have dropped the smuggling of people and narcotics significantly. Fencing can cut off major corridors for smugglers, and is a force multiplier for the border patrol that either stops crossing attempts or slows them down enough for agents to respond, Hunter said. In other words, these guys are just walking and driving the drugs right on in. $64 billion worth a year. This is literally walking it across the border. Here's all the smuggling routes. I just looked this up on Google Maps, and this is what was there. They showed all the smuggling routes of the cartel. They named the cartels and their smuggling routes. They even named, if you guys can get up on this, you probably have to do it on your own, but they even named the drug route, like the cocaine drug route or the methamphetamine, the way they smuggle specific drugs into the country. All that is here. All that's listed. You can see it all right here. All the cartels are listed here. The Ariel Felix Organization, Cartel Pacific Sur, Los Zetas, Sinaloa Federation, Carrillo Fuentes Organization, Gulf Cartel, Knights Templar, Independent Cartel of Acapulco, and then the disputed territory, which is right here, where they're just fighting over it. This is all on Google. I just looked all this stuff up. So that means everybody knows this. They know how this stuff is getting into the country. They know where it's coming from. They know how to get their money in, how they get the drugs in and the money out. Now let me show you this. I mean, the reach is so deep into the country. This is Alabama. Show this article. This is Birmingham. This is an article on Birmingham, Alabama, 2018. Mexico Sinaloa drug cartel leaving deadly mark on Alabama. Go on, talk about a 13-year-old girl who was beheaded. They're all over the country. The connection, the Sinaloa cartel, Mexican drug gang. It's not a drug gang. It's a large organization. This thing is about as big as IBM. Believe me, they got executives that's running this place, that's running this thing. These are not street people. These are intelligent people who, many of them are holding government posts in Mexico. So don't let them call it a gang. The Sinaloa cartel, a Mexican drug gang with one of the largest U.S. footprints, including just about everything east of the Mississippi. Of all the cartels, Joaquin Guzman, El Chapo, led the cartel until his capture in 2014. Okay? This is Alabama. A 13-year-old girl was beheaded in Alabama. Birmingham brothers sentenced to federal prison in Mexican cartel drug distribution case. See? Selling drugs to black people in Alabama. All right? But this is what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you this because the Sinaloa drug cartel, their major hub is the U.S. In the U.S. is Chicago. All their major distribution point, like let's say to New York, Philadelphia, starts in Chicago. They land everything there, and everything goes out from there. Michigan, Minnesota, everything. All the Northeast and the North. Everyone knows this. The people of Chicago know this. Okay? The officials, they have to know all this. If I can look this up, they can. So they would know all this. The question would be, why are they not helping Trump close the border since they know this is the source of the problem? That's what I'm making this. YouTube for. I want people to understand what it is that the Democrats are fighting. Here's a report from Chicago. This is from CBS Chicago. It was dated 2018.
Action plan for attacking Mexico's deadly drug cartel in Chicago. CBS 2's Vince Gerasoli was there. Some of the top law enforcement came together to map out a strategy to bring down the drug lords.
That street violence in Chicago is tied to drug sales. 300 near record level have been seized in Chicago this year alone. Overdose deaths are up over 50%. Nearly all of the drug sales.
It's just not a Chicago problem. It's just not an American problem.
You remember him from the Jussie Smollett case. This is a big guy who's supposed to have been faking all the outrage. This is Eddie Johnson. He's corrupt.
International problem.
Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson and some of Mexico's highest-ranking law enforcement officials to announce new cooperation cartels.
We know how they move their dope. We know how they move their money.
At the top of their list is Era Cervantes, also known as El Mencho, the leader of the cartel. The violent criminals are known for confronting state forces in battle. It came into prominence after the Chapo Guzman, head of the Sinaloa cartel. These joining forces in a more focused effort, they can crack the gang.
Expand the investigations and take the cartel lead and extradite them to the United States.
The area is calling El Mencho the city's most wanted man, but he sure came close. More closely scrutinize the finances that make their way from the streets of Chicago to the drug. In the control room, Vince Girasoli, CBS 2 News.
There you have it. They already know about it. They know where the drugs are coming from. They know they're coming right to Chicago. Why aren't the people in Chicago standing with Trump to help them close the border, to stop the drugs from stopping the killing and all the things that's going on in Chicago? That's the question.